Well, a visit to Club Menangle. Well, you're always assured of some great racing on the track, and there's so many wonderful exhibitions to have a look in between races, including this one here behind me. However, it's one exhibition we wish we didn't have to display, but we certainly do honour those who have lost their lives doing what they love best. That was their passion for harness racing. Caught up with a gentleman who knows only too well how it feels to lose a loved one, Ray Walker. Well, Ray, good to catch up with you. As I mentioned in the introduction, we've got so many wonderful exhibitions here at Club Menangle. This one behind us, a very significant one, honouring those who lost their lives doing what they love most, being involved in harness racing. And unfortunately, your dad, who's looking over your left shoulder, Colin, was one of them.
Yeah, very sad to lose me dad. It's nice they've honoured all these people here. It's just part of the sport. Not many get killed in this sport, but he happened to be one of them.
Yeah, we're going back to 1978, and the four was at Leeton. You were only 17 years of age.
Yeah, I was only 17 at the time. Yeah, and it was on the 1st of January. They have a big meeting there, and the place was packed. And I mean packed, like no Sky Channel like nowadays and all that. There was people everywhere.
Your dad made a wonderful contribution.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah, the whole family, grandfather, my dad and my uncle. Yeah.
And those famous colours you wear, the blue and the gold, are very significant because it also led you to who you support in rugby league.
Yes. When we were at school, we had to pick a rugby league team. It was a must, they said. And I said, well, I got blue and gold trotting colours of family. They said, well, you follow Parramatta. And I've followed them ever since.
Heartache, but also good times.
Well, I've seen them win more grand finals than most. Me and Mickey Watkins, they've won 4 while we've been about. And a lot of people can't say that.
There's been a lot of water under the bridge, Ray, since we had the pleasure to have regular conversations at Harold Park, going back into the 80s.
Yeah, we had a lot of nice horses back then when we used to work a team. When I had Ricky and Jared Olchin and Ross Arentz and Shane Hawcroft all working for me. We did have a lot in work, but we had a lot of success.
We're going to talk about some of those horses shortly. Just going back to your dad's sad passing. You were 17, as you mentioned, and you were thrust into the role as being now the trainer-driver.
Yeah, well, I'd already drove a winner. I worked for David Jack for 12 months while my dad was alive. And then I'd already drove a winner. David put me on a winner for my first drive, which was good. So I was always going to do it, but it's just a matter of when I'd done it. But I had to start a lot earlier than I anticipated. And
going back in those days, Ray, it was a very tough school.
Yeah, I used to drive against Alan Harpley, and you'd come down to Harold Park. You had Vicky Frost and Kevin Newman. I was only young, but you learnt quickly. Old Tony Turnbull.
What a great period of racing it was as far as country racing was concerned. Pale Face and Just Too Good, Adios Victor, and just some of the trainers and drivers of that particular stage of harness racing.
Yeah, they were all in Temora, and we had Welcome of Ice just up the road at Junee. There was a lot of good horses in the area. I don't know where they got to, but they were a lot there at once.
Yeah, going back in those days, Ray, virtually every centre had an idol.
They did. They seemed to have a good horse. Now, there just doesn't seem to be that standout horses around.
As far as your grandfather was concerned, Len, he mainly started out with the gallops?
Yeah. He started out with the gallops, but he said he couldn't trust the monkeys on their back, so he switched so he could have a drive himself. That's how it come about.
And Dad following in his footsteps, and then, of course, you. So that third generation being involved in harness racing, what's been some of your fondest memories as far as the family is concerned?
There's been lots of them, my brother, he done well for himself. He's give the game away now, but he trained a fair few winners, for the limited opportunity he had. He done well. He's 5 years younger than me. And I suppose the biggest thing I've done, I'm a strong one. He was a real good horse to me, and I had a lot of fun with him.
Well, you won 34 races with I'm a Strong One. Joe Sella, Grandin Knight was an exceptionally talented horse. Vasco da Gama. Not only did you have a wonderful record at Harold Park, but when you went to Moonee Valley, you had an outstanding strike rate.
Yeah. Vasco da Gama was a lovely horse, and Grandin and Josh Sella, they all won at the Valley. There was no harder at the Valley. Maybe a bit easier than Harold Park, I thought. The track was a bit bigger, and yeah.
But also, one of those particular runners went on to win 6 races straight, which is no mean feat.
Yeah, 6 times I took him to Moonee Valley. I'm a Strong One. They weren't actually straight. He might have come to Harold Park and got beat in time, but 6 times I went down the highway and he came home a winner 6 times in a row, which took some doing.
You were an apprentice plumber. Did Dad insist on you having a job before you got involved in harness racing?
No, that was pretty good, just whatever I wanted to do, but I was just doing a bit of brickies labouring, and that was too hard work for me. So, and Rodney Woodhouse and Ian Walsh. Walshy was an exceptional bloke. They offered me an apprenticeship, and I done that until my dad passed, and then things went downhill, so I just went to the horses.
You also had a very nasty fall at Bulli, and back in 1997, you're still paying the price of that fall.
Yeah, I'll never get to be 100% in my left heel, but now that they've shifted the pegs, put pegs in and got rid of the running rail, it's a lot safer. That day, if that would have been the situation, I think we might have been all right.
I think if there was an outstanding training performance of the year, one of the top contenders would be your wife Jane and yourself concerning Mr. Ray, who came back from 3 years off the scene to win very impressively at Wagga.
Yeah, he had 3 years and 4 months, and the boy that helps me, Nick Orr, and he can tell you how many days that is because he was counting them. And he done a lot of work with him too, walking him around and rehabilitating him, and Jane, it was a big team effort to get him back, but we got him there.
He had 12 starts, Ray, and he won the Sapling Stakes, the Gold Crown, the Group 1. Then 12 starts into his career, the issue occurred. What went wrong?
He had a bit of a tendon injury, and we had Basey look at him, Jim Basey in Victoria, and he told me what to do, and we done a few things that he suggested, and he said give him 12 months, and it just took forever to get him back. Then he had one fetlock, then the other fetlock. Every time I'd get him up nearly ready to go, something else would go wrong with him.
The breeding of Mr. Ray is also very special to you.
Yeah, well, I won on his grandmother. We bred his grandmother, Peter Smith. We bred her. She won here at Menangle on the old Menangle track. His grandmother, Glenburn Smoothie. And his mother won 17 and won at Harold Park. So we've had the family a long time.
You've put a lot back into harness racing. You've been a director with the Temora Harness Racing Club.
Yeah, we try to help out, we try and help run the show so it's beneficial for everyone in the game.
You mentioned Alan Hartley. Any other influence or idols during your period in harness racing, particularly from the bush?
But my dad and my Uncle Brian, my grandfather, they were real, by the time I could drive in races, we used to go around the local shows and you learnt to stay on your feet there pretty well. And David Jack, he was a big help to me
As far as races that mean a great deal to you, the Riverina Breeders' Plate and the Sapling Stakes, which your grandfather won 1955 with a horse called Lulin, they've remained high on your priority.
Yeah, he won the Breeders' Plate, the first ever Breeders' Plate at Leeton, and he won a couple, and my Uncle Brian's won 3, and I've won 3. And it's just changed a bit now because they run it as the last major of the season. Then it used to be the first. And by the end of the season, they buy the New Zealand horses and they're here. But it was a bit of an art in getting one going to win the first major of the season,
You've always been a wonderful mentor to the boys coming through the bush system, Ricky Orchin and his brother Jared and Cameron Maggs, quite an extensive list.
Yeah, well, Cameron Maggs only drove for me. He was a David Jack boy. But we had Ross Arentz, Shane Hawcroft, and Chris Hughes. He doesn't drive, but he trains and he does a good job out at Leeton. And Ricky and Jared. There's numbers of them.
And of course, it continued, which is great for the industry, and no better example than Cam Hart.
He's done a big job. Trevor White done a big job with him. Yeah, he's done a terrific job, Cameron Hart.
He'd be an old sparring partner of yours, Trevor.
Yeah. Trevor's a bit older than me, more your age, I think. And I learned a bit off Trevor when we were learning.
I haven't seen you for quite a few years, and all you've done is bag me all afternoon.
I try to be nice.
Ray, it's been great to catch up with you once again. As I said, it's been far too long. Good to see you going around again, and hopefully we'll see those Parramatta colours successful very shortly here at Club Menangle.
Thank you.